Hey everyone, today I'm doing a brow grooming tutorial for you. What I like to do is start off by applying a guide line around my eyebrow using my brow pencil. The one I'm using at the moment is by ZOEVA and this is their graphic brows in Arsenic. If you're not used to or comfortable freehanding a shape to your eyebrows, then you can use a stencil and you can pencil around the stencil. I'm used to penciling in the shape that I like to my eyebrows, and this only has to be light. Across the top I'm drawing a straight line going up at an angle, following my natural brow shape where it's most sparse. I'm also drawing a faint line parallel to that top line along the bottom, and then I'm also going to trace the tail of my eyebrow. Again, this doesn't need to be neat because it's not you penciling your brows in, it's just a guide for where you want your shape to be. Now we have a guide line around our eyebrow, we know not to remove any hair from inside this guide. Here's another way to work out the guide for your face shape. The start of your eyebrow should be in line with the side of the tip of your nose. If you draw an imaginary line from the tip of your nose through your iris and through your eyebrow, this is where the arch of your brow should be. And then if you go from the corner of your nose to the corner of your eye and extend past your eyebrow, this should be where the tail finishes. Next I'm going to take my tweezers and remove the hair from outside that guideline. You've got hair that has pigment in it which is dark and very visible, and we've also got vellus hair which is white and that's not as easy to see. You may have heard it being called peach fuzz before. If you find it pinches a little bit, place your finger at the side of your brow and pull your skin quite taut, and be sure to tweeze the hair out in the direction the hair grows. This will help to make tweezing practically pain-free. I'm now going along my guideline, making sure I'm tweezing very close to but not inside the guide. And I'm using my finger to keep the skin nice and taut while I tweeze the hair in the direction that the hair is growing. So by that I mean if the hair is facing upwards, then you pull the hair upwards. You'll find it comes out a lot easier and you won't get any snapping. When it comes to the tail of your brow, you want to make sure that you don't tweeze away too much of the hair. So use the brush to move the long hairs out the way and tweeze around the shape so that you don't pull out any of those integral few hairs that we do have on the tail of our eyebrows. Along the top of your eyebrow, it's unlikely that the hair is going to be dark, it's mostly going to be the white vellus hair. If there are dark hairs, then you kind of really want to leave them in because they're going to add to the shape of the top of your eyebrow. Even if your eyebrows are very sparse, trimming is an important step. I don't have the fullest of brows, but you can see that when I brush them upwards, my hair is longer than the shape that I've created, which means when I set them in place and brush them up, they're going to sit higher than my pencil and make them look untidy. I use the spoolie end of my pencil to keep the hairs in place while I trim them. Now it's important to only nick the very tops of your hair. It's most definitely better to go in twice than to go in too short to begin with and realise you've ruined the shape of your eyebrows. Now obviously this is an important step, but again if your hair is quite sparse and they don't overlap your guide, then it won't be a necessary step. Only trim your hair the way that it's going to be facing. So for the tail of my eyebrow, I always comb them outwards to the side because that's the way that I set them in place with the eyebrow gel. Now I've done all my tweezing and my trimming, I'm now going to fill the brows in. You know I'm all for more of a natural eyebrow, so I use a very light hand, but I do fill in the entire eyebrow. But again, using that really light hand is only going to add a very soft shadow to the skin. So I tend to work the brush backwards and forwards through the hair, very lightly coating the skin, and then I use my spoolie to comb that through. Again, that's a really important step because you really want to soften the pencil that's on the skin. You don't want to be able to see the pigment itself. So don't be afraid to really work that spoolie through the hairs to blend that product onto the skin. I concentrate the majority of this colour on the base of my brow, so that line along the bottom is the strongest part of my eyebrow. And then when I flick the colour through at the top, I'm using a super light hand and I'm working in stroke motions. That way it's going to look a lot lighter and more like hair. Now don't worry if you're not too neat at this stage because we will be cleaning it up. To do the tail end of the brow, I always pull my skin quite taut and feather the tip of the pencil downwards to colour this area in. I always drag my finger down the side to extend the tail because this pulls the pencil down, and then again I go back in with my spoolie to soften it. And that's the filling in part done. We're now going to use a brow gel to set everything in place. Even if you've got very sparse brows, using a brow gel is going to help to create more texture for your eyebrow, making it look more hairy and fuller. This is the clear brow gel by Benefit called Ready Set Brow. And I just brush the hairs upwards and to the side and then outwards at the tail of the eyebrow. Again, it's just about creating more texture. To really give the brows a nice clean crisp finish, I'm using the very smallest amount of Too Faced Born This Way concealer, and the brush I'm using is my MAC 212 brush. I applied the concealer to my hand first and then dipped the bristles in and removed all the excess concealer. You can see from the bristles there's barely anything on there. I'm using a flat brush so that I can work that directly along the base of the eyebrow. This helps to sharpen our line, giving a very crisp, clean finish. And that's my 6 steps on how to achieve a natural looking, well groomed set of eyebrows. Please share the tutorial if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, hit the free subscribe button. And if you're new to me, I'm Shonagh Scott. I'm a professional makeup artist, and you can follow me on my Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and they're all at ShowMe MakeUp. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!